Hello Comics fam, you already know Batman and Croc escaped Arkham, and in the dead chill of the night, Bane descended on Bruce's friends like a butcher. Today, we show you how he shattered their bones, burned their flesh, and twisted them into absolute villains. Smash that subscribe button, brace your spine, and let's dive straight into the carnage. That man got down from Wayland's back inside a sewer tunnel, exhausted and breathing hard. He looked up and told the massive reptilian Wayland, "You saved me." Wayland, half submerged, answered yes, and slowly dragged himself out of the water. He hissed at Batman, "Now you save me." Batman promised he would find a cure, but Wayland suddenly shouted no and approached him in pain. He begged Batman to end it, saying the hunger hurt too much. Batman raised a blade, but hesitated, as Wayland roared, "Do it!" Batman brought the blade down hard into the ground instead. He couldn't do it. Wayland seized the blade himself and prepared to finish the job by stabbing himself in the eye. Batman shouted for him to stop and kicked him in the face, knocking the weapon free. Wayland roared and said he should have left Bruce at Arkham, then thrashed into the water. Batman called after him, saying they could beat it together, begging Wayland to wait, but he was gone. An old memory struck Bruce. He and Selina were leasing a place to stay, warm light on the windows, while the city glowed like an open wound. Bruce told Selina he kept thinking about Wayland's tournament, thinking about how Wayland was walking into slaughter and didn't stand a chance. But Wayland wouldn't listen. Selina told Bruce to help him win. They got this apartment by bending unfair rules, cutting through the system like a razor, and Bruce should hunt down similar measures for Wayland. Bruce suddenly woke on a cot with a violent gasp as Pennyworth steadied him. Bruce asked how long he had been out. Pennyworth said 20 days and warned that Bruce didn't fully understand what had been carved, wired, and pumped into him. His spine and brain threaded with a full body delivery system loaded with venom. Bruce growled he was fine. Pennyworth told him everything had changed. Bruce pulled on shades and a cap and said he needed to move. Bruce walked through the city, but green venom discharge leaked from his nose as a surge thrashed through him. He staggered, slammed a hand against a wall, leaving a smear of glowing fluid, then steadied himself and headed home. Martha answered the door. She slapped him with fear, not anger, before crushing him in a hug. She cried, saying she feared another phone call about him, especially after what happened to Ozzy. Bruce asked, confused, "Ozzy?" At Gotham Hospital, Gordon told Bruce he was family, but he'd be arrested if Gordon was still commissioner. Dr. Leslie Tompkins led Bruce to Ozzy's room and warned she'd never seen anything like it. Inside, Oswald lay mutilated, skin split, bones shattered, tubes jutting from ruined flesh. Bruce said whoever did this would pay. A flashback showed exactly what had happened, every brutal second of it. Bane descended on Bruce's friends like a monster unleashed. He grabbed Ozzy first, lifting him as if he weighed nothing. He snarled in Ozzy's face, "You are a fake, always trying to be big, with those pink, gym raw muscles and the lifts in your shoes." Then the crushing began. Bone after bone shattered under Bane's blows. He broke nearly every bone in Ozzy's body, some in multiple places, snapping limbs sideways, grinding joints into pulp. Blood sprayed across the floor with each impact. His barrage of punches was monstrous, yet terrifyingly intentional. Every strike calculated to miss the vital organs, preserving life just long enough to let the suffering continue. It was precise, surgical, cruel beyond measure. Leslie told Bruce that if Ozzy lived, he would be nearly 2 feet shorter, rebuilt around mangled bones, condemned to a lifetime of constant pain. Bruce, still reeling, asked about Harvey. Leslie quietly told him Harvey was in the next room, leaving Bruce frozen in shock as the horror settled in. In the next room, Harvey lay bandaged like a charred corpse. Half his body, straight 50%, was scorched with 3rd and 4th degree burns. Skin melted into blackened sheets. His skull had been crushed. When the police found him, his head was split in two, barely held together by torn flesh and blood-soaked bandages. Bruce held Harvey's trembling hand as Harvey rasped out a memory. Did Bruce remember the truant cop Flass? Flass always caught them as kids, no matter how silent or clever they thought they were. Harvey whispered that Flass once told him, "Harvey, you're fooling yourself with friends like these. They'll bring you down. The flashback snapped in like a blade. Harvey had charged at Bane with a liquor bottle, screaming at him to put Ozzy down. Bane caught him effortlessly, hoisting him into the air. Something that made Harvey think of Flass, of warnings he ignored. Bane growled, "Let me guess. The big brother of the group. The protector." Then he smashed Harvey's skull with a liquor bottle held between his enormous fists. Blood exploded across the pavement. Bane leaned close to the dazed, bleeding Harvey and said, "You're destined to be the traitor. Because your friends are outlaws, but you have principles, ambitions." Bane picked up a plastic poker coin, flicked a lighter, and turned it into a burning ember. He stared at Harvey, whose face was drenched in blood and glass, and hissed, "You pretended to be both in the poker games, outlaw and lawman, friend and enemy, but pretending time is over." He dropped the fiery coin, and Harvey ignited, skin blistering and peeling as he screamed. Now, in the hospital, Harvey glared at Bruce through one good eye and accused him. It was all Bruce's fault. He gambled with all their lives. Then he whispered, broken and burning inside, "I hate you only half the time." Later, Bruce ran to meet Eddie at his base. The room was dark, lit only by the sickly glow of humming circuitry. Eddie sat hunched in the shadows, fingers twitching over his artificial intelligence rig. When Bruce asked if he was okay, Eddie whispered that he was fine. Bruce said he feared Bane might have hurt him too. But Eddie, voice trembling with a gleeful quiver, said Bane had been very gentlemanly. He said Bane challenged him to a friendly battle of wits. Bane had even handed Eddie his gun, telling him he could kill him if he won. "I bet you like riddles," Bane had said. It took only a minute for Bane to beat him in the game. Then Bane leaned in and began shaking his head violently, slamming the front part of Eddie's brain into the walls of his skull. Bone cracked, blood burst from his nose and tear ducts. Eddie's frontal lobe was destroyed in an instant. Intelligence collapsed into chaos. Facts dissolved into madness. And all that remained were questions everywhere, endless, screaming questions. Then Eddie revealed himself fully. He stepped out of the shadows, plugged directly into his AI machine. Wires pierced the bleeding sockets where metal clawed at nerves. His arms were soaked in red up to the elbows. Thick streams of blood ran from his eye sockets, dripping into the circuitry below. He said Bane had challenged him and helped him transcend. Bruce shouted his name and moved to drag him to a hospital, but a venom surge hit Bruce like a whip of fire. Eddie watched him shake in agony, then grinned through blood-smeared teeth. "Looks like he challenged you too, Bruce," Eddie rasped. "What are you gonna do about it?" Bruce remembered the day he and Selina approached Carmine Falcone on a golf course. Falcone mocked them for sneaking in, but Bruce said they were there to offer a deal. Falcone recognized him as Waylon Croc Jones's trainer, and assumed they wanted Bibbo to go easy on Waylon or to cash out. Bruce said the bag they brought was a gesture, fine gold work stolen from Falcone's own apartments. Falcone asked why he should believe it was real. Bruce said it was his, so of course it was real. When Falcone reacted, Bruce said they weren't looking to cash out, they were looking to raise. In the present, Batman told the Red Hood gang to stand down. When Red Hood mocked him, Batman repeated that it was over. Pennyworth questioned Bruce, asking if he was truly shutting everything down. Bruce admitted Pennyworth had been right. He hadn't seen things clearly. Pennyworth reminded him that Bane had broken Bruce's friends. Bruce said he knew. Pennyworth asked if Bruce was going to let Bane break him too, warning that everything had changed and there was no going back. Suddenly, an alarm went off. Someone breached the hatch. They prepared for a fight, assuming it was Bane. Pennyworth grabbed a massive minigun, and Bruce armed himself with his axe. They called out for the intruder to face them. Pennyworth moved ahead, into the shadows. A whip cracked, coiling around him, and the intruder dragged him down, flooring him with a storm of brutal kicks and punches. Bruce charged in and confronted the figure, someone who clearly knew him. "You, what the hell are you doing here?" he shouted. The intruder stepped into the light. It was Selina, Catwoman. She smiled and whispered, "Well, hello to you too, Bruce." That's all for today, folks. Batman's friends are broken, twisted, turned, and Selina has stepped back into the light. Now only a blood-soaked war stands between Batman and Bane. How will the Dark Knight prepare? In the next episode, we'll show you how the heroes steel themselves for the final slaughter. Till then, stay tuned, stay absolute.